Good morning and welcome to my live stream. This is Fight CPS with Bob Pace. I'm your host, and it's a warm welcome. Um, I'm here to talk about my case. um, I guess I am live. It says I've been doing this for about a minute, and it was really strange today. Um, I come on at 8 o'clock, that's Pacific Standard Time on the west coast of California, and normally I see two live streams are created. Now, I have a running clock, so we'll keep track on that time. Normally, my times on the weekend are 8 a.m. in the morning, 8 a.m. And on the weekdays, are on at 10 a.m. in the morning, 10 a.m. in the morning. And so um, when I come on, the first thing I do when I look at StreamYard is I check to see if my rooms have been created. Now, I have a show producer. Her name is Grace. She was just on for a moment, but it's her day off. So I don't understand. She didn't say anything, but there is a live stream happening. There is a live stream happening. And so I guess I'm okay. I haven't gone back out to check to see if there's an evening one too. So hopefully that will happen too. Um, all right. Um, it's so interesting when you talk to people sometimes. It's always like playing ping pong ball. Now, I notice in ping pong, you hit the ball, it goes over the net, and it comes back, and you hit it back and forth. But it's a single action transaction. So when I talk to people, it's almost the same thing. It's like I'll say one thing and then they'll say something else. I'll say one thing and they will say something else. And it goes back and forth and back and forth. And as I say, it's like playing ping pong. But um, I warmly welcome all of you because we're here to fight CPS. Now, I'm a loving father and a husband. I've helped raise 6 children. I've been married for over 42 years of experience of marriage. And what I'm trying to do is try to help you so you don't make the same mistakes that I did when I was involved in CPS. Now, I'm so happy to have a lot of people this morning. I see 6 people, and I've already seen 2 emojis. This is remarkable. Hi, Dorothy, and hi, Christina, and thank you so much. David just come in. Good morning, David. Thank you. Christina, you made my day. I thought when I came on at 8 o'clock, there was no one around and my rooms weren't created. And I thought, man, goodness, I had to do this all myself. You know, this is hard. This is hard. You know, I do this twice a day. I'm on at 7 o'clock every night, 7 days a week. And with those 2 live streams, that's 14 live streams a week. And I definitely try to make them different. I try to be creative. It's really, really, really hard. Now I don't see my example banners here. Where are they? There they are. Wow. Well, that's the bulletin about how to text a message to me, and we already have 2 people in my room. 3. We have David Hilago, who is from Santa Maria, California, who has a bad case where his daughter's accused of improper behavior. But he's hired Mr. Davis, my attorney, and so far he feels confident that Mr. Davis knows what he's doing. And Christina Reynosa is a hardworking mother and a foster care kid herself who's gone through a lot as a foster kid. But she's also been very helpful of creating grievances for Megan Wilson, for Felicia. There's lots of people. Megan Wilson is a mother in her 40s in Wilmington, Delaware. Felicia is a young mother in her 20s who has 2 boys her father has but won't give it to him, and her brother's trying to evict her. And she's going through an eviction process, and I think July 17th is the deadline. I did call Tony the Tiger, and she did talk to me, so she's okay. She's just struggling. And I've not heard from Felicia, so she had a hard day yesterday. I think Dorothy was telling me. And, well, I thought Dorothy Cook was on. Oh, wait. Dorothy, I think, sent an emoji. Yeah, she sent emojis, what Dorothy did. Dorothy is from North Carolina. And so she's trying to help too with a lot of people. She's trying to get a hold of another North Carolina, Robert. And hopefully Robert will be back on again and she can help him. Now we have David here. Good morning, David.
Good morning, everybody who's watching as well.
Yeah, that is great. That's great.
Happy Sunday.
Yeah, happy Sunday. You know what's so surprising is that I have David right now on the phone who's calling in, but it was kind of a strange morning. I wake up at 8 to do my show, or wake up. I actually am up at 4 in the AM. I'm one of these early rising persons. But anyway, so, you know, before 8 rolled around, I come on, and so it was really, it's really a strange event. Normally, my show producer's off on Sunday, but she was there. It's kind of like I was in the room waiting, knowing what to do. It said create a program, and I usually have the programs already created, but she went ahead and created it, and I got the program going. So it's I'm glad because I'm here to help you all. So what morning and yeah, what question do you have, David, or what comment do you have? Okay. Now is that hearing? Yeah, go ahead. Got the results back.
You know, pursuing this against me, and so, unfortunately, I was hoping that this hearing on Tuesday would be that they'd give me my daughter back, but it looks like they're hell bent in taking her away from me and giving. So we're gonna set trial date, and it's unfortunate because I just don't understand, what what more these people want. Like I said, I passed and took a lie detector test, and that right there should have opened their eyes to what was going on and the fact that my daughter had recanted. But the way that I think that the way that they do their forensic interviews, they ask leading questions, and she's small, she's 9 years old, so they've influenced things, and she's been hearing people say things about me around her, so that's influenced her, and so her statements changed and stuff, but still not enough, I guess, to convince them to give me back my daughter. But they really want to just take everything away from me, and that's it. So gotta pray and have faith in God, and that that I will get justice. But I'm afraid, Bob, because they hold all the cards. It's their court, it's their system, and it's their forensic interviews. But it's just incredulous to me how unprofessional these people are, and why they're still insistent, knowing, like I said, that I took a lie detector test from the number one polygraph guy in the whole nation, a retired special agent, and it doesn't mean diddly squat to these guys.
No, I understand that. I want to say hello to Cruella, do a trick. She just came in. We've been worried about you, Felicia from Oxnard, California, and you're one of my angels. I'm just so glad that you called in to check in, because when you guys call to check in, it gives me assurance that things are not necessarily okay, but you're still struggling and you're still trying to take care of matters. Now, Cruella is one that was evicted. She's trying to be evicted by, and I don't understand this, because Cruella says her mom owns the house. How can her brother evict her? And Cruella, there's some information I found online about eviction. You need to read it. Now, David, you've called in, and what has Vincent told you about the case so far? What has Vincent said to you?
The only thing he said to me, I asked him, what do you think about this new development? He says, well, it's terrible, what they wrote about you once again. And I told him, well, how do you feel it's going into trial? He goes, but I feel good. That's what he said,
Okay.
He said he feels good going into trial. And, the truth is with me, God is with me. And just see if we can, that's against me, but it's David and Goliath now, Bob, and I appreciate everybody's thoughts and prayers, and mine go out to everybody as well. All the people who are watching and praying, who are struggling with their different challenges, God be with them. But Bob, like I said, you guys say and Tuesday I have a hearing, and we'll set trial date, and like I said, it's time to get justice for me and my daughter.
Yeah. Cruella, you can't hear him clearly. He's talking very clear to me. Christina Reynoso, do you hear him okay? Do you hear David okay? Because he's here to me. Let me see here. My microphone is on. Yeah, my microphone is on, so I don't know what the problem is. It is on. Really? Oh boy. Do you hear me? Oh, really? Well, let me see if I can adjust the microphone. Oh, wow, this is weird. Sometimes. What do you mean? Sometimes you can hear me. We have classic.
I can hear you, Bob. I can see you on the screen.
Hold on one second. I think I know what the problem is. If you use other applications, it can create a problem. Let me try to fix that. Okay, I think I now wait for it to end here. I think I've resolved the problem. When you run another application in the background, you got to make sure it's turned off. And I did not know it was not turned off. Now, let me see if that works any better. Now, is that any better? Can you hear me now? Better? David, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Do you hear me, David, do you hear yourself now on the screen?
I can't hear myself on the screen.
Huh. I don't want to leave.
Let me see. Let me see testing. Yeah, now I can. Thanks,
Okay.
Bob.
Yeah, I think I fixed out the problem. And I'm so sorry for all of you listening. We have David, who I've been talking to for the last 5 minutes here. He's from Santa Maria in Santa Barbara County. And he has a horrible case where he has a 9-year-old daughter that's accused of improper behavior towards her. And she's recanted twice now. At first, she said it was true, and then she said it wasn't true. And then another forensic interview was ordered, and then she changed her mind a second time. And now they're having a date to have a trial for her, to have her, I guess, be removed and placed with her grandparents. Is that where it's supposed to be?
Well, she's there now, but permanently.
Yeah, permanent.
They don't give
Yeah,
me no visitations, nothing.
Well, then my question is the mother? I forgot. Did the mother pass away?
No, the mother's lost her rights and is out of the picture.
Why has the mother lost her rights and out of the picture?
This happened about 5 years back. She had issues, and
Okay, all right.
The court took her. Yeah.
So you've been raising the daughter for 4 years without the mother.
Right.
So those 4 years has the time with right. What brought on the issue? You think? Mhm. Okay, all right. So a family. It was your sister that did that. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. Yeah, yeah. Um, okay, sounds like we got good audio. We definitely have visual. Again, we have David from Santa Barbara County in California, and we have Christina Reynosa from Las Vegas, Nevada, and Dorothy Cook from North Carolina. And we have Classic Mommy, who's from Georgia. Classic Mommy is from Georgia. And then we got Cruella from Ventura County in California. And so we're all trying to hear the support David and his quest to get his daughter back. Um, and it's really, he's got the best attorney right now. So that is good news. You can't go wrong with Mr. Davis. I used him and he got my two boys back. So he knows what he's doing. He's very meticulous. Let me tell you an example of what he did. He was so good. He caught the caught the social worker in perjury. She was under oath. My wife's sister and husband were trying to adopt our daughter. And the social worker was on trial. And Vincent was asking her some questions. What kind of parents are my wife's sister and husband? And would it be a good fit for a daughter? And she was answering. And then he changed the subject a little bit and said, um, he said that, uh, have there ever been, first he asked, are they good parents? And he said, oh, they're greatest parents. Then he asked, has been any domestic violence? And she strongly said, she said, no domestic violence. Well, Mr. Davis had a puzzled look on his face and he brought out a folder and he looked at the social worker again and said, well, ma'am, I have these police reports, not just one, but many. And he started reading them report by report. And not only were the domestic violence, there were physical domestic violence where the husband and the wife were hitting each other. And there was more than just one. And her face, the social worker's face, was so embarrassed because she was caught in a lie. When you commit a lie in court, it's called perjury. And you can be sued for that lie. You can be sued for that lie. So we were able to stop the adoption. But the social worker was so crafty that she convinced our daughter and the CASA that was assigned to my daughter that she should change her name completely, seal her birth certificate, and get a new birth certificate, emancipate from the parents, meaning divorce mom and dad, divorce her siblings, divorce her grandparents, divorce her aunts and uncles and cousins. So she did all that, and she got a new birth certificate with her foster care parents, and she got a second social security card where she was double dipping from my retirement. You see, when you reach a certain age, you get additional help if you still have children under the age of 18. I think when you get to become 70 years old, it kicks in, or maybe it was 68. I don't remember 65 or what it was. But I know that I was getting additional money from social security legitimately to take care of my 3 children because of my economic hardship. Now, when she was taken from my hands, CPS had the money stopped for me and given to the adoption parents. Now, I don't know if my daughter saw this extra money what, but she was getting double dip. So they're getting money from the first Social Security card she had and the second one. That is illegal. But this social worker was so determined to retaliate. And that's what's so bad about CPS. That was so bad about CPS. But in the state of California, a child at 12 can emancipate, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Nothing. Nothing you can do. It's so corrupt. It is so corrupt. It wasn't until a couple weeks ago when Christina Reynosa told me I could file a grievance. See, I did not know that the damage is still ongoing. You see, I've had no chance with my daughter. When she was taken away from us, there was not one visitation I had with her. No effort was ever made to see what's wrong between me and my daughter. There's nothing in the reports that said I did anything to her physically. The only thing they could come up with, and it was a stretch of imagination, was that recently in my home, because I've had CPS in my home before and they found nothing. But recently, I had my parents' belongings from their 3,000 square foot house and their 55 years of marriage, because they asked me, my dad had died and my mom couldn't really handle the house anymore, so she was moving out of her home, and asked me if I could collect the things and distribute it among family and friends. At first, I put it on the apron in front of my home with a tarp over it, my family's things, my father and mother's things. But because I live in a CCR, a private neighborhood, they said I had to take the stuff inside. Well, my house is a big house, but I had things in it also. So I had to double it. And when I did that, I put it all in the living room, organized wise, boxes on top of boxes, furniture on top of furniture. But it was never stacked too high that endangered the kids. I mean, my youngest at the time was 9. And they're taller than the boxes were. But what the social worker tried to come up with is says, oh, those boxes could hurt the children. That furniture can hurt the children. Now, they lived upstairs in their own bedrooms, their own bathrooms. The kitchen was not cluttered. The family room was not cluttered. The dining area was not cluttered. The formal dining room was not cluttered. The hallways, the walkways, the downstairs bathroom, the downstairs library, study, computer room, extra bedroom was cluttered, was not cluttered. So they had playroom and they had a big yard. I had 3 yards around me. One was the English style garden. One was the back pool with a rock pool that you walk in with a waterfall and a grotto jacuzzi. And the other side was where my Siberian Huskies lived. That was their dog run. And so it was well organized. It was in a private neighborhood, less than a mile to the beach. And it was good home. But they said, oh, you're being neglected. Your children can be hurt by the furniture or the boxes. That's all they came with. And on the report, that's what they charged. But that wasn't bad enough. The detective who came out filed his report, and the district attorney for the city I lived in filed a similar complaint. Plus, they added on something called sexual charges. They wouldn't detail what sexual charges are. I found out later the ploy was, if we put sexual charges, that's a bargaining tool that they use. You see, there's all this bargaining going on. And for a year, I fought this neglect charge because you have to finish in there. They're not going to do anything social service until your criminal matter is taken care of. So my wife and I were charged with 3 counts of neglect and 3 counts of sexual charges. And I kept asking them, what sexual charges? They never took my computer. None of the children reported anything sexually inappropriate among the parents, but instead they had it where they had sexual charges. Now, social services, CPS didn't charge anything sexually. They never implied anything sexually. It was the city. The city was trying to build a case, and it all boiled down to something called money. It's all about money. See, we always ask, why this, why that? Social services, the CPS part of social services, makes trillions of dollars a year by having children in custody. They get $20,000 a month, every month, for having a child in custody. If they have that child adopted into foster care, they get a bonus of $35,000. Now, that came into play in 1997 by Bill Clinton, who signed into law called the incentive law, where they give money to CPS to have the children be adopted into foster care than opposed to family reunification, which takes sometimes up to a year. You see, if you have a domestic charge or anything domestic violence or whatever, you're going to have to go through a domestic program, which is a year-long program. It's a 12-month program. It's once a week. It's 52 weeks. So it is going to take a year or so. So they wanted to milk it for a year. If you can imagine, $20,000 per child, that's $60,000 per month for this family by having this family bootstrapped. And during this whole time, I didn't have one message from my daughter, nothing. We were once really close, very, very, very close. But somehow she's been convinced and brainwashed by the social worker and by the CASA. You see, you got to be careful about CASA. CASA is a court-appointed advocate. I think it's called a court-appointed something advocate, SS, service advocate. Anyway, this person is supposed to help out people. Parents are given CASA and children are given CASA. The only downside is there are open ears for CPS. CASA reports everything you tell them, so you can't say anything inconfident to them because they'll use it against you. And they encourage my daughter that said, you got to leave your family. Now, her mother was seeing her right at first, unmonitored visits with the two other children. But that got worse and worse because they started taken away. They became monitored visits. They are so bad. They want to increase the money part. And eventually, then my wife couldn't see her daughter. Why? What was so terrible their mother did to her daughter? To this day, we do not know. And anyway, the case and the criminal went on for a year. And it later, at my other attorney I had, which I wish I'd never listened to him, we settled saying, okay, if they drop the sexual charges, the 3 counts of sexual, wherever they are, and take my wife out of the picture so she'll have nothing in there, I'll accept a misdemeanor neglect only if the wording says you're being charged neglect because the boxes and furniture that were stacked may harm the children, may harm the children. That's written in the report. But the problem is with laws and codes, they have one word for everything. So it just says neglect. It doesn't say the fine print. You have to bring that and show it to everybody. So everybody looking you up thinks, oh, he's convicted. He agreed to be convicted of a misdemeanor. And I should never have done that. I should have had a jury trial and gone the full gamut. I did not want to put my family and my children up to court. I didn't want to put my wife and I thought it was the best thing. And that is why they do additional charges. It's a ploy that they play. It's a ploy. Now, I'm analyzing this long after my case, you know. So, David, you got to be careful. You still there, David? Okay, David had to go. I thought he was still on there. But anyway, that was about my case. And I know that Christina and Cruella and David has heard my story before, but for all the new listeners, and Dorothy too. And so it is a hard thing. Hi, Bartley. So happy to see you. I am so happy that I have all my family here in this morning. This is so great. This is so great. All we need is Tony the Tiger. Where is Tony the Tiger? We have Classic Mommy from Georgia, Cruella from Ventura County. We had David on the phone who called in, who told about how bad his case is getting, but he's got a chance in court this Tuesday with Vincent Davis, who's going to defend him. Now, one of the things, Classic Mommy says, we were arrested for not providing TV, internet, or personal cell phones to our children. The formal charges literally say that. Yes. Cell phones and TV and internet is a privilege. I don't know where CPS thinks this. For instance, my younger two did not have cell phones. My oldest son, he's rewarded when he graduated from middle school for a phone. He got A's, straight A's in his 8th grade. And he went on to a private school. So I bought him a phone. But they gave him to my daughter, who was so young. You see, people don't know how to use phones. And you should, as a parent, be allowed to terminate the phone or the TV or the internet. Those 3 things are luxury. Those 3 things are a privilege. And you should not be, that's wrong that the Georgia legal system are blaming Classic Mommy and her husband and arrested them, which is ridiculous. That is ridiculous of what the courts do. And this is so sad. This is true. All of you in my room have ridiculous things that have happened to you. I know Dorothy and Felicia. Here's Felicia taking care of her mom, who's a special needs mom. Her grandmother's fine, but her grandmother can't take care of her. So she's dedicated her life. She has 2 babies that were given to her father, but her father now won't give them back. And on top of that, her brother has taken a rampage to try to evict her. Well, he's got a court paper that says that she's evicted. So I really don't understand. But anyway, it is a terrible thing out there. And, I'm hurt. I'm really hurt. I think Christina and Dorothy have opened my eyes. And Christina especially has written a very excellent grievance. I just have to file it. Every day I am lost without seeing my daughter. She just turned on July 9th, 23. She's 23 years old. This isn't the first child I've had a problem with. I had my firstborn, Aaron, and there's an Aaron on this live stream from Tennessee who's born a year or a month. She was born a month after my daughter's birthday. My daughter's birthday is May 2nd. The other Aaron from Tennessee is born June 2nd. 30 days later, she's 36. So is my daughter, who last time I saw her was 3 years old. That was from my first marriage. And so sadly, I was very naive. My first wife decided to move out. Her lifestyle was changing, and she didn't want to cope with me being the provider. So she took my daughter and said, "You'll never see your daughter again." She wouldn't tell me why or anything else. In California, you get a divorce for no matter what reason. There should be a law that says you need to see a counselor for 6 months to work out the marriage. Marriage is supposed to be for life. When you commit to 2 people, they love each other. I don't think 2 people that hate each other would get married. So there was love there. There was love by both people. And when you get married, it is a lifelong commitment, through better or for worse. So I stayed with her to the very end. But you should not do retaliation. And that's what the social worker did with my 3rd daughter. And then my first daughter my wife did the retaliation. Because as the judge said, and I was stupid, I was led to believe I was making good money then. I paid for my own court. I paid for my own judge, my stenographer. I paid for the attorneys. I had a job. I paid for everything. But the judge said, he was a retired judge, he said, I don't know what to believe. If I'm wrong, then the father will suffer. If I'm right, then the daughter is safe. But there was never said in court that I did anything appropriate. There was nothing. It was like, oh, they're playing tent on the bed. And she had diapers on. I had my board shorts on. There was nothing that happened inappropriate. And one time in the bathroom, I'm using toilet paper. My daughter walked in, so I just tried to brush off and says, go see your mommy. Go see your mommy. So I guess my daughter told my wife that daddy was doing something weird or showing something. I wasn't showing anything. It's just that in my house, I do have doors, and the bedroom door was closed. But in the bathroom, there's no way I can close it. Anyway, that was one thing. And another thing on the diapers, they said that there was a certain kind of fiber in the diapers. They thought that was inappropriate. What it was, she'd eat a tangerine, and the rinds of the tangerine, not the rinds, but the veins of the tangerine, whatever it was, came out in the diaper. So those are the only two things they came up with. So, and it's the first time telling you about that. But she's now 36, and I'd hope I'd see her. I've followed her on Facebook. I know that her mother quickly married and had another child, and then he divorced her because he didn't want to go through what I was going through, and saw what kind of person my first wife was. She had changed immensely. So I met my second wife, after 10 years, my first wife. And we fell in love, and we started a family much later after we were married. We did all the appropriate things. I had a good paying job. But unfortunately, I'd lost my job, and that's when things really turned sour. And when I lost my job, I had to go into a Spartan lifestyle because we only had money saved up. And I was able to hang on to the house, my forever home, for 7 years, from 2010 to 2017. I had savings, but I had to use them. Also, I was fighting CPS, and so I had to sell my home in a quick sale. So the home was sold less than what it was worth. Actually, I sold it for exactly what I paid for it. And that home had a lot of equity in it. It was bought in 2004, and it had 13 years of equity in it. I lost it all. It's over $1 million of equity I lost. It was a $2 million home. But I had a good job. I had a $250,000 a year job, $250,000 a year job. But at 60, dealing with CPS, who's going to hire you? First of all, they think you're a dinosaur. Second of all, they think that you're involved in CPS. You must be a bad person, so we don't want to hire you. So it made me really hard. Now, at first, my children weren't taken. I fought 5 years with CPS. I had them into my home. I had them under the lights on the car hood, talking about my case, showing them my utilities, because I did not know that a reporter, a layman reporter, was telling false lies. It wasn't one, it was several. I later found out it was my wife's mother, father, her 3 sisters, and her brother were calling in once a week from Ohio to California and telling the social worker, you better go check out that family. They don't pay the bills. Our grandchildren are not being fed. Our grandchildren are not in school. Our grandchildren live miserable. Our grandchildren say they're living in a dirty house. They went on and on and on, week after week. 5 years of this went on. To finally, they got tired of the reports from my in-laws and family and employed the police of the city I lived in to help them. You see, that's the bad thing or the downside of dealing with CPS. They use the police, and they use the police as intimidators. And the police are buffaloed or fooled thinking they can enforce the laws of CPS. They don't know the laws of CPS. When you see them come to the door, they knock and they expect you to open and show them the place and give your child up. You don't have to do that. You're protected by the Constitution of the United States and your civil rights, that your home is your castle. If your door's closed, that means the drawbridge is up. No one can come in there. There's only 3 ways they get into your home. 1, they have a warrant, and you got to see the right warrant. It's got to be a warrant executed by a judge with a wet signature on it that allows them into the home. And it has to be notarized, meaning that there's a hand stamp that they imprint through the name, so it's not able to be faked or forged. And if the dates are dates on the weekend or a holiday during the weekdays, then it's an invalid warrant. It's an old warrant. And I'm sad to say. Also, the primary purpose of the police, and usually the sheriffs, they serve the warrant. They also are supposed to protect the social workers from harm to them. That's the only thing they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to enforce CPS's rules or regulations. They're not supposed to get involved with harassment or intimidation. But if you see a policeman in their battle fatigues or combat boots and their bullet chest plates, yes, it is for protection. It is for protection. But it's also very intimidating. I think if the policeman came in their a nice sports shirt and a pair of pants, and the social worker was dressed accordingly, that would be a lot better. That would be a lot better, because the police could be to the side and protect the social workers. That's the purpose of the police. There's some comments have come in that I need to read. Dorothy says, maybe she's ashamed of the situation and not you, and don't know how to seek a relationship with you and not hurt or be hurt by her mother, adopted or any other. Yeah, Dorothy, I can understand that. Now, Classic Mommy from Georgia says, we are out 125K so far, but the kids are home. Worth it. I agree. You are very lucky. You're one of the few. The family farm is on the market. Worth it. Keep up the fight. Never give up. Never surrender. I'm sorry to hear that your house is on the market. You're forever home. It cost me millions of dollars. I mean, I just, I have lost. With my first marriage, it cost me over $1 million. And then with my second marriage, or my second case with involved in CPS, well, my first case with CPS, this cost me over $2 million, well over $2 million. Yes, I have my sons back. I do have my sons back. They're 19 and 25, and they're both in college. And they're trying to do their best. My older son, 25, is talking about marriage, but I'm so careful with him about marriage. I didn't get married till I was in my 30s, and I was a dedicated man to my first wife. I gave up my dream job of being a marine biologist scientist. I was working on board the research vessel Valero, a 110-foot purser, and I was doing really cool jobs, doing environmental work. I was doing reports for the offshore oil rigs that are off the coast, and I had to come up with reports of how it affect the migration of the gray whales. I did a report off the Hyperion treatment plant when they went from secondary treatment to tertiary treatment, and they were doing a 5-mile outfall. I did a report there. I did another report down in San Onofre when they're building the nuclear generating stations, which are gone now. But I did a report about thermal impact on the marine environment there. And that was a really great. So I had this great job. So I gave up my job and got a job as a civil engineer. And I started off with what I thought was good pay, $200 a week in 1983. When I left that job, I was making $5,000 a week. $5,000. And I didn't leave it. Unfortunately, the state of California is going bankrupt, and they needed my contracts to keep them alive. I had $63 million worth of contract work that was awarded to me. And I could have fought them because legally they were wrong what they did. But they wrote me IOUs. They didn't say the contracts were canceled. They said we cannot start the job. There will be a delay. And I think it was illegal. And I tried to talk to banks, get a credit line. The banks laughed at me. The same banks that wrote predatory loans, that got them own self messed up. The banks failed themselves by allowing predatory loans. You don't qualify somebody and change the rates or how much money they make only so you get a bonus. There's so much corruptness around in a lot of different areas. I've hit a really bad life. There's no question about that. I've hit a very, very bad life. But I'm not going to give up on you guys. I'm certainly going to do my best. Now, I'm going to go to church this morning. Normally, I finish at 9 o'clock, but I had a technical difficulty because my shows were not created. I did not see them when I first came on at 8 o'clock. So I'm hoping that when I sign off, I'll see my evening show. But somehow, God was looking after me. I really believe in God. I don't know. That's what's helped me out, is that I've been more in tune with God than ever before because I want to go to heaven. I look at life. You're on a train. If you ever watched the Polar Express and the boy on the train, you know, I'm on this train, and the train runs on railroad tracks, two of them, a left and a right side. Well, the left side I call the circle of life. I got that from the Lion King. There are big circles, small circles. But it's important that you try to have big circles. Also connected to the right rail, which I call the railway to heaven. You know, there's a song, Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. And so I call the right rail the stairway to heaven. It's to get to heaven, stairway to heaven. You have to do good deeds. You got to repent your sins in order to get to heaven. And connected to two rails are railroad ties. They're wooden ties. And each tie represents a good deed. And so I think by me being in this room, helping you all, I'm doing a good deed. I'm trying to get to heaven. At the same token, I'm trying to, live as long as I can. I don't want to go anytime soon. I know we hear about people like our former President Biden, who is, 82 or whatever it is, still is the president. Then we had a guy who was a congressman that lived to be 86. We have Bernie Sanders, I think it is. Yeah, Bernie Sanders, who's 88. I want to live beyond that time. I know there are people that are 90 years old. I watched them in the floods in Texas, and God rest those people that lost their lives there. There was a 90-some-year-old man with a rake cleaning up the debris in his home. So I know that you can live a long time, but you have to have that. You have to do a lot of things. I've done a lot of time in the Boy Scouts of America of over 50 years. Same thing with the American Red Cross, over 50 years in the areas of disaster and the areas of education as a water safety instructor, small craft instructor, first aid instructor. I've done interesting jobs in my life. I've been an ocean lifeguard for 10 years on the West Coast and on the East Coast, at Virginia Beach, Virginia, and Huntington Beach, California. Yeah, now you know where I'm at somewhat. I call my place where I live Surf City, USA. That's what the city calls himself. And we had a wake out in the water to honor Brian Wilson, who was a songwriter, not a surfer. But I met him in I met him and Dennis Wilson in Malibu. But anyway, he passed away. I have had a lot of good friends pass away recently, but I do want to live a long time. I want to help you do the show. Now, we have an interested person to come in, and I have about 5 minutes left of my running time. Things that CPS Child Protection Service have in common with the dark side. Now, I don't know who you are. My rule is you identify yourself, and I appreciate it, but I think you may be the same person that is from California that uses different kinds of names. I think there's about 6 or 7 names, and you create a new Facebook name, I guess, to be in here. And I'm glad you say, yes, God is real and is helping us even the more. I appreciate that. That's a good message. Did you know that Jesus Christ and God are the same people? I didn't know that till recently. I had no idea that when Jesus got alive again and came back, he didn't only talk to his disciples, he talked to over 300 people when he came back from the dead. And now he's sitting up in heaven and waiting to come back. Waiting to come back. God is real. I believe in him. And on Sunday is the Sabbath day. You should read your Bible and follow the 10 Commandments. Religion is simple. There's too much complexity in a lot of religions, whether it's Muslim, whether it's Jewish, whether it's Catholic, whether it's Buddha or Hinduism or Shintoism. I could go on and on. I am a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ, the Son of God, that is God, recreated in Jesus. I believe in the Bible. I believe in the 10 Commandments. There are things today in the Bible that are still applicable today's times. I know we're in technology, in the area of really intense technology. We have the newest technology is AI, artificial intelligence. Supposedly we've gotten our computers smart enough that they can create intelligence. But anyway, I am talking Saturday. Saturday. Christina Reynosa, you just said Saturday. This is Sunday. Am I on the wrong day? It is the 13th of July, 2025. The 11th was Friday. The 12th was Saturday. Today is Sunday, the 13th. So, anyway, I say this is Sunday because I plan to go to church. My church starts soon. And so I have right now 2 minutes or a minute and a half of my time, my running time. It is already 9:43. I must have started really late. Wow, I cannot believe that. That's probably the latest I've ever, well, not the latest I've started times, but I'm thankful that you guys are in this room and I was able to do that. Oh, Saturday is the Sabbath? I did not know that Saturday is the Sabbath. I thought Sunday was the Sabbath day. I'm learning something new. I got to look at that. I got to look up in the Bible. I thought the day of the Sabbath day was Sunday, was our Sabbath day. I had no idea it was a Saturday. That's certainly a new one for me. So with this being said, I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank Christina Reynosa from Las Vegas, Nevada for all she does and for being a part of this family. There you are, Eternal Eve and things at CPS. That's the same person. Good morning, Infinity from Los Angeles, California, with your many names. And I appreciate all the wisdom of God you say. Thank you, Classic Mommy from Georgia. And I'm so glad that you have your children back. I'm sorry you have to lose your forever home. And Dorothy Cook from Alabama, from North Carolina, thank you. And I hope you found some of the news of June 26th helpful to you in your state of 100 counties. They have more counties, twice as many counties as California. California has 58 counties. North Carolina has 100. And David Helago went to go pick up his son. He has a son and a daughter he's taking care of. And it's sad that his daughter has become a ploy with family members. But David's from Santa Maria, California, and has a court date on Tuesday. So we hope and pray it all goes well. All right, David? And Cruella, I cannot forget you from the Ventura County, from Oxnard, who is trying to stay in her home. And I think her deadline is the 17th, which is 4 days from now. So I'm hoping that something can help you out, Cruella, because I worry about you. You're a good woman. You're part of my family, and I want to take care of you. Did I leave anybody else out? I think I got everybody. So right now my running time is 1 hour and 1 minute. It's it's a 9:45, and I have 15 minutes to get going here. I want to thank you all, and I want you to still keep fighting for your children. Do not give up. Never give up. I never give up. I never do. I have encountered many obstacles in my railroad of life, many obstacles. But I'm going to have my circle big because I want to live a long time. God bless you all. And please listen to Mr. Davis, my attorney, with a message, a very important message. I leave with the Department of Government Efficiency. If all else fails, go there. They will help you. They have a web page. They have phone numbers. 202 is the White House. They have an email. You can't ask for a better government agency than DOJ. They're trying to run the government efficiently. And our president, stay behind him. He's trying to do his best. It's a very complex. Not only is he taking care of our country, he's taking care of the world. He's trying to keep Korea. He's trying to keep China and Russia in check. He's trying to end the war in Gaza and Israel. He's trying to end the war in Iran and Israel. He's trying to end the Ukraine war and the Russian war. He's doing so much. He's now got NATO back. He's got NATO fixed. They're now going to contribute more of the economy to help out the alliance there. United States is a powerful country. Love it, respect it, and thank God you live here, because I've been around the world and nothing's more happier than when I set my feet on U.S. soil. That is a wonderful place America is. So God bless you, and I'll see you tonight at 7 p.m.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted. And if you go against then it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the
last ones left. Put your